This demo today is ways so we can extend the functionality of our AI. So hopefully you're all aware of what's out there, which is a module that allows us to integrate AI into Orchard. So what else can we do? So there's the chat, we have done it before, used it before, you do a task, it should respond with something, right? One problem that we currently have in the AI field is that there is no real way to get real data, real-time data. So if you want to get things like weather or time or whatever for a specific place, you don't have that functionality as flexible as it should be. Today, you can do is you can create a function, and AI will call that function for you, and it will respond. For example, what is the time now in London? Right, and you would get a generic response just like this because it has no way of telling what time is it. What you can do is define a function that would call an API that will give you a real-time data, and then you can feed that response here, and you're good. You can do that. We've seen that demo before. But now with the new MCP, there's a new protocol out there. It's called Model Context Protocol, MCP, that allow you to kind of define common ground where you're able to have the AI plug into to talk to other services. So you have an MCP client and then you have an MCP server. MCP server is basically a way to tell the AI model, I have additional functions that you can pick from and utilize to generate the response. So what I did here is that I actually created the integration with MCP, a complete integration. I want to show you how it works in action. So now we have an MCP connections menu here. Here you can define connections to an MCP server. So I can click on add connection, and then here you can either connect to a remote server. You can put the endpoint for that server and it will connect using HTTP. But also you can select standard input output, which allows you to connect to a local machine. So in this case, let's say you have a Docker container that you want to run the server on, and then you're able to create that connection and it will call that local server. So for the sake of this demo, I created a couple connections. So this connection right here, what it does, it actually calls a Docker container with those arguments right here. And that's it. It just calls it. What this server does, the MCP time, it just provides real-time information, time information. If we go to hub, and then we search MCP time, oops. So there's MCP time. So you'll see it just provides, this is a Docker container that provides two functions, it convert time and get time zone. And this is how you call it. So you call it with a command called Docker, and then these are the arguments. So this is exactly what I'm connecting to. So now I have defined this MCP connection, which, by the way, I have Docker container running locally. Docker desktop is running locally. Now, if I go to my profile, which is the one that's called general chat, the one I was using earlier, I can actually tell it right here which connection I also want to expose. So in this case, I want to say, hey, expose this time capabilities for this chat. Now, if I go back to my chat and say, what is the current time in London? It's the same prompt as before. Now what's going to happen is going to call, which it did. It called my MCP server, which is running locally on Docker, and it was able to provide the time. And then that time went back to the AI model, and then the AI model generated this human readable response, as you can see. So that's MCP in action. But MCP does a lot more than that. It allows us to do things even more dynamic. It allows us to create agents, so we're able to have them do things for us. So you can really create whatever, like I said, connection here that you want. You can search up, like if you're, there's more than just Docker, but if you just search up the Docker hub, and you'll find out there's a lot of MCP servers out there that do different things. Like here, you can do file system. Here, you can interact with a SQLite. You can ask it to create a database, or do things, alter table and things like that for you. That's the MCP time, one that we just tried. And there's a bunch of them here that you can automatically solve and become more robust. One of the ones that I want to test out too is the MCP GitHub. So with a GitHub here, there's a lot of functionality here. If you look at the summary, you'll see there's a way to add an issue, create a branch, so on and so forth. If you scroll down, you will have information on how to connect to the server. And again, you can use the Docker command with those arguments, and then you'll provide an environment variable with your token, be able to talk to this Docker container, and basically gives it access to your the repository. So I did that just so we can kind of see how it all works. I don't want to click here because my personal token is exposed. So I don't want to click on edit and show you. But it's literally you just going in here, creating one, and then you put Docker and put the arguments and the environment variable here. And so I want to go to my general chat again. And then in here, I want to now enable this other connection, the MCP connection. And then what this is going to do now, it's going to allow it to interact with whatever permission I give it. And if I go here, I created demo. So I created a repository here just so we can kind of mess around with without breaking things. So I can go back here and I can say, can you create an issue for me under the microbyte? Was it MCP demo repository with a title demo? And let's see what happens. So now what it's going to do is going to recognize that, hey, it needed to do things. So it knows the functionality that that's available, which is the MCP for the GitHub. And it's able to say, okay, I created a demo. I did it. So you go here, look at that. And now it created a demo for me, or an issue. I can do things like tag it. Tag it when if I can type, that'll be nice. And there you go. Let's look and see. Did it do it? Oh, there you go. Now it's bug. Can you comment by saying it worked? Right, and then let's see. Hopefully it does. And if we look at that issue, now the issue has a comment called it worked, and okay, close it. And let's see, will it do it? Will it not? There you go, and it closed it. So as you're able to see, I'm able to communicate using the cat utility to my GitHub repository, which I previously gave it access through the connection. And this is just one example of what can be done here, right? But you can really have any solution you want. If you search up here, like I showed earlier, there's a lot of solutions. You can really do whatever it is that you want. And it's really not that hard to create an MCP server. So if you have an internal project that you are running locally and let's say you wanted to do a thing for you can create an MCP server and then just give it access to it, and it'll be able to do the work for you. It's able to do pretty much anything that you expose to it. I'm hoping at some point I'll be able to create functionality for Orchard where you can say, hey, create a content type that does this, and we're able to create a content type for you, or say something like, I don't know, whatever, like any functionality within Orchard Core, and we'll able to do it. So it'll be nice to have an MCP server that does that for us. So we don't have to do it manually. We'll just be able to type in our prompt, and the system will be smart enough to say, oh, I know what to do. I know how to create deployment. I know how to do that. So yeah, and then so for the MCP, I guess I should have started with that, but I didn't. But if you search in the features, there's 2 features in the MCP under the artificial intelligence. One of them is local MCP feature, and then the other one is for the remote. This right here is optional. You don't have to enable it. This is only good for me in this case, local development, or if you have like the local connections that you want to connect to within your environment, you can enable this feature. But this feature is optional. This is the feature that you really need, which allow you to connect to any connections, and also provide you this UI that allows you just to add whatever connections you want. And I think that's it. Questions, comments?
Good, thank you.
Yep.
All the things you showed have nothing, well, could be done outside of Orchard, right? It's the chat, calling an MCP. But yeah, what would be interesting would be to see that there is an Orchard MCP inside Orchard that you can interact with an Orchard chat. That would be nice.
Yep.
As you said,
Exposing a server, yeah. MCP server, where anyone
please
can
take
connect
all
to
my content items and translate them to English or whatever. Fine. And create a menu that contains all the articles about, I don't know, apples. And or create a theme that will display my apples in this way, and then it will create the liquid templates. All these things.
Yep.
Oh, I don't like the color.
Just needs
Make it
MCP
red.
server.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the, yeah.
Next week, it's okay. You have time. Good. Thank you, Job. For the MCP server, if you want to create one, there is a new MCP SDK for .NET. With a template, you can just create your own MCPs in .NET.
Yeah, it's right here. This is the SDK right here that you can utilize.
And there is also a new chat template. I don't know if you saw that, like .NET MEAI chat template.
I did see that, yeah. Coming up in .NET. Yeah,
next week. Cool. Thank you.